What is up, YouTube? We're back for another video, and today we are recapping my 2026 Powerlifting America Open Nationals performance. I've been meaning to make this video for a minute, but I wanted to make sure until I had the proper equipment to be able to record a video in the format that I wanted. So here we are. There's a lot to say about this performance, both of how prep went, the injuries I was dealing with during, and just like the ups and downs, the highs and lows. Don't want to spend too much time. Let's go ahead and get right into it, and I'll talk a little bit in the background about how things may have gone, or how this compared to some of the things I did during prep. All right, getting right into it though, we did open up with 245 kilo, 540 pounds. Now I believe this is pretty close to the same opener that I had hit back in Umber Classic, and my top end, given my injured state, is pretty similar to what it was last August. So no surprise, this is really just enough for me to feel out what the second attempt should be and how big of jumps we can conservatively and safely take. So 540 flies undoubtedly super smooth. Again, the thing is, this is still probably like top 3 or 4 heaviest lifts I've hit since last August. So it's it's honestly surprising the condition I was able to come into on meet day, considering all the variables and injury, of course. So we did take a relatively big jump, 15 kilo jump straight to 573 pounds. And this is literally 5 kilo below the highest squat I had taken during prep. And as I said, since last August. So we really weren't sure how this performance coming into nationals was going to be, just because the state of the body was like this. So for us to come in this good enough condition to be able to confidently take 573 for a second and have it move this well was truthfully huge for us. And I knew the moment we finished this attempt, I'm like, we got to load at least 270. My coach, definitely thought that we could have gone 272, 275. And I believe in it too, but I just wanted to be conservative. That way we could secure a 3 for 3 and the best subtotal possible going into bench press. So we jumped right to 270 kilo, which is 5 kilo heavier than anything I had taken during prep. And mind you, I took 584 at probably like an RP 9.5, I believe 4 weeks out from nationals. So the improvement from that day to competition is huge. Obviously, I've always been somebody that performs, I feel, better on the platform than I do in training. And at the end of the day, who cares if you're a gym lifter? That's not the numbers that you see on open powerlifting. So 595 pounds. And you know what surprises? I'm pretty sure I get a depth call on the right side judge, which was crazy to me because I felt like I dunked it. But going back real quick too, seeing as those walkout, you'll notice I get the squat command, and then I'm having such a hard time being able to get a solid brace. Like, this is the heaviest weight I've had in my back in a long time, and it showed. It really did feel like it was crushing me, and I was having a very, very hard time. I think it took probably 2 or 3 attempts after the squat command to finally get a solid brace, and even that I wasn't super confident in. I just got enough for me to be able to take it. You'll see. There we go. But I was honestly surprised we got the depth call, because to me that looked like it was dunked, especially at this angle still too. And usually the front angle squat always looks high, and for it to look to depth to me from this angle, I'm surprised I got a depth call. Getting into bench press, there was a lot of excitement surrounding bench press, because that was probably the only lift during prep that had stayed true. I feel like I was actively progressing in the bench, and we had some of the best momentum going into a competition than we ever have, truth be told. The only other prep that you could say was nearly as good as this was obviously the Umber Classic meet as well back in August, as I said too. But even that we end up topping too. So we opened up with 391 pounds, 177.5 kilo, 10 kilo below my competition PR. And I had zeroed out on the day. Honestly, the warm-ups were fantastic. Everything felt pretty damn solid. It was awesome getting a bench on the sky pad for the first time as well. I believe from here we jumped right to 187.5, which is a competition PR match on the second. That way we could potentially take a swing for the third, assuming everything went to plan. Oh, actually, before we get in that too, there was one point I wanted to make too. like literally 20 minutes before the flight before me was about to start too, there were so many no-shows during weigh-ins that there was a thought that we may only have 6 lifters in our entire flight. And that scared the living shit out of me because, I am somebody that paces their training, especially warm-ups and back-downs, pretty high. But being able to take those big of attempts, those close to each other, and the condition of the body in, was scary at the time. And I was really, really stressed out, honestly, going in because I'm like, oh, Lord, I really, really hope they just combine the flight so we can, we can still have 10 to 12 men or something and make our lives a hell of a lot easier. And obviously our ability to compete at the level that we, expected to. So that's exactly what they ended up doing. They ended up combining flights. We ended up having a 12-man flight, I believe, and it was so much better. It also, I will say, stressed out during warm-ups too because I all of a sudden had 20 minutes to warm up for my first attempt from that point, which typically I wouldn't start warming up for squats until, probably second attempts of the flight before me. As I said, we're taking 187.5 kilo. This is a competition PR match. And to me, this is probably my best executed bench on the day. I'm actually slightly disappointed with the execution of the third, but you guys will see that soon enough, and we'll talk about it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I was super happy with that, honestly. It moved really, really well. I would probably say I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. I knew I was going to get 413 or that 187.5. Like, I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of how fast. And I had to move it fast enough to allow us to take the smart call to be able to go up 2.5 kilo. Because truth be told, if that second didn't move well, probably would have just scratched. Because I'd rather scratch than miss an attempt on strength. But we decided to load the 190, which is the first time I've had a competition bench PR in almost 2 years. This is also half a kilo below my best training bench too, so that is absolutely huge. The handoffs were also fantastic, so thank you very much to the loaders and spotters too. They were fantastic. I know some of them were from OSU, but I'm not sure the other because I think it was 2 separate college teams potentially. This felt really good in the hands too, and the Eleiko bar felt pretty solid too. Oh man, that shit was a grinder. I am super happy with it. It was a hard attempt to say the least, but the fact that I was able to make that happen, and like I said, a half kilo away from my best training bench of all time, that's a huge win for me. Huge win for me. So now we know we're going 6 for 6 into deadlifts, the biggest question mark of the day. Now, the biggest deadlift I had pulled during prep in the entirety of that 8 months between meets, that off season, I had only hit 490 pounds, and I had also happened to tweak my back doing that near lockout. Of all places, it's kind of funky. So we were entirely unsure of how deadlifts may show up. I think my heaviest deadlift before the meet too, like 4 weeks out, was I think 474 if I'm not wrong. So we opened 7.5 kilo below my heaviest deadlift of prep, which is scary, but again, as I said, be a platform lifter, not a gym lifter, so we knew things would likely show up when we needed to after, you trust in the taper. So opening up with 220 kilo, as I said. We take really, really big jumps on deadlift. I'm a huge fan of it. Usually we take a nice, comfortable opener, a big second attempt to secure a number, and then swing for something. And that swing is always usually conservative, something we truthfully feel is realistic on the day. And that's usually the goal. At the end of the day, I value 9 for 9 more than I do a specific number at times. Like, there's a time and a place to worry about a number, but I'm not at that spot yet. I'm running my own race, trying to set the best total possible that I can perform at. So the opener moved really, really well. Honestly, above expectation. The warm-ups leading up felt fantastic too. So I believe we took a 20 kilo jump. Yep, 20 kilo jump to 240, 529. And I was nervous about this one because I hadn't mentioned yet that during bench press, independently, both my hamstrings cramped up pretty bad. So they were pretty tight and sore going into deadlifts. It was probably a little too much sodium in comparison to the water that I consumed. But we were all right. By the time we got to deadlifts, I was feeling pretty solid. At least by the second attempt. Now, this 529 was great. The standard was great. Execution was great. There definitely was weight on the bar, though. It was noticeably slower than the opener, which is expected. It was a 20-kilo jump. But, I had two options here. That secured 700 kilo, which is 15 kilo under my all-time best total, which is, 1,576 pounds, 715 kilo. This secured 1,543, 700 kilo. We had the opportunity to potentially a high risk to match my total, and that is the attempt we decided to put in. Truth be told, hindsight's 2020. I wish I would have taken like 5 kilo lighter because it was risky at this point, considering we didn't know how the body was going to tolerate the meat, and it did very, very well holding up, considering, again, we're still injured as we speak on this platform, and even now today. It was a risk, to say the least, and I talked my coach into loading it. I probably should have listened to him and taken something like 245, as we said, because I do think 245, not only did it have a higher probability, but it was safer, and I genuinely probably would have had it based off this third. But let's get right into it. Now, I wish I could tell you you're about to see some badass hard grinder of attempt, but I guess you guys will see here in a second. The energy was fantastic too. It was awesome. I tried to get people going, hopefully enough to get me to run through this wall and pull this attempt to match my total. But even hitting 700 kilo at in an injured state is fantastic. Being 30 pounds off your best total injured is awesome. I did feel bulletproof going into this, though. I really did want it, and I mean, even seeing that face again, the emotions, they kind of dig in a little bit. But truth be told, I think this is the best performance we could ask for. Could we have gotten within 5 kilo of our best total if we'd been a little bit safer on the third deadlift? Absolutely. But we had secured everything we needed to going into that last attempt, and I don't regret it. If anything, I was happy to be there, man. It was awesome to have the opportunity to not only meet my coach and watch him compete for the first time, also take top 5 in 83s, but also even beyond that, be able to spend and experience these memories with my best friend being my wife. These are the moments you live for at the end of the day. And even beyond that, I got to meet so many awesome people. They say never meet your heroes, but honestly, every single person I met they were awesome people. Like, it seemed down to their core. And we're talking about national, potentially world champion, world record holders in some cases too. And everybody was awesome. It was so cool. And truth be told, regardless of whether I'm competitive or not, if I'm in a good state and my total's high enough, I'll probably still compete in next year's nationals, depending on the location. But I'm super happy with this prep. I will say, or not happy with the prep, but happy with the performance. I will say, sadly, about 2 weeks after this, I can't remember the date exactly, but I did end up tweaking the back again, which is a bit of a setback. But with time, I will get healthy and I will have the opportunity to step on the platform again. But biggest thing is we stepped on national platform injured. I'm not going to step on a local meet injured. There's no purpose or point to me. I'd rather just take the time to get healthy and, come back in a much better state, even if it means I have to take a year off. I'm not really sure what the off season looks like, what the timeline for being able to get healthy is. Just know I'm doing what I can to get back. But if you guys did make it this far in the video, I genuinely do very much appreciate it. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time because I've already spent a lot of time ranting, but a few more things I wanted to bring up. If you guys did not know, I'm a brand ambassador for Gorilla Mind, and if you want to directly support me and save yourself a little bit of money, you can use code SDF at checkout for 10% off, and as I said, to directly support me. On top of that, too, I also happen to be a powerlifting coach. So I'm the head coach at SDF Coaching. I have clients ranging from 900-pound totals all the way up to 17, from the local level to the national level, hopefully international one day, whether it's me or one of my guys. I tell you what, it's a very, very fulfilling experience, and typically right now the standard rate is $100 per block, which is standard block is 4 weeks long. Obviously, manipulation can be made to line us up for meets, of course, But if that's something you may be interested in, go check out my resume. Go look at my Instagram page. I post all of my clients, whether it be training recaps, meet recaps, even my own training. Hell, I even have weight loss clients too. So if any of that even piques your interest, go check it out, man. Go check out that Instagram, and hell, maybe even leave a comment, shoot me a DM. I'd love to talk to you guys. But once again, you made it this far video. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys on the next one very shortly, because one of my best clients will be competing a week and a half from today, which today is the 15th. He'll be competing in 10 days on the 25th, so expect some cool shit coming up.